Hi everybody, my name's Christopher Collison, and today we're going to be talking about coherence and themes across paragraphs within our writing. This is for CHEM 670, and I hope you enjoy today's presentation. So again, the title of this series is Writing Clear, Concise and Compelling, and this is week 4 of Chemistry 670. Let's start with a review briefly of the work that we covered in week 3, which was quite a significant amount of material. But basically we were talking about aligning with the audience, understanding the audience and asking questions of who the audience is. We talked also about connecting our ideas in our writing. We talked about how readers want to learn when they're reading our work, and we also talked about how that could be done through chaining and the message that we wanted to leave the audience with by using the stress point. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to introduce the idea of coherence. So again, we're firmly considering what the audience will think of our work, and we're making sure that we have a consistent theme throughout our writing. So let's take an example. I found a note on my friend's fridge, and you'll see the note on the right hand side, and these words cup, marble, birthday and ice cream were on that note, and I said to him, what do you mean? What's this all about? So take a few seconds and try to come up with a solution for what all these 4 words might be associated with. Well, it turns out that themes actually provide a roadmap. Themes help us create some connection between certain topics. It turns out that my friend's son's birthday was coming up, and he was trying to think about what types of cakes would be appropriate for the birthday party. Cupcakes, a marble cake, a birthday cake, or an ice cream cake. So the point here is that when we're writing, we may have many different paragraphs. We may have many different ideas that we want to get across to the reader. But what we need to be able to do is create a theme that ties everything together. So how might we do that? What does this look like in our writing? So themes are words or phrases at the beginning of a passage. They occur in the point sentences of our paragraphs, and the readers expect these themes to be developed throughout the passage. And another idea we're going to talk about is how important it is to repeat these ideas, repeat these concepts. They'll become then thematic strings, a string being something that connects everything together. So let's look at this example again. So let's think about the conversation that my friend had with me and how he might indeed write this down in a piece of writing. So we might expect the first paragraph to say, well, here's the theme. We're talking about cakes. It's my son's birthday. Maybe the second paragraph might be we diverge or we move into an idea about cupcakes. In this particular case, his friends at the birthday party would enjoy having their own cakes. Of course, at the end of that paragraph, he might say, well, there's other options. Let's look at these other options. A marble cake is fun if you're baking it, which he might choose to do with his son. At the same point, it's his birthday, so you might end up having a chain at the end of this third paragraph to lead into why a birthday cake, perhaps with decorative frosting, might be more appropriate. Finally, if my friend is continuing to describe what's happening, the birthday party would be outdoors in the summer, an ice cream cake would be refreshing for every child that was going to attend the party. He might go on to say, well, there could be some problems if the cake melts. Ultimately, what we are considering what we are perhaps expecting as readers is to have some final decision that would be made, and perhaps that would show up in the 6th paragraph. So the theme here is the cakes, and we'll find that that thematic string of cakes follows through all of these paragraphs, and it leads us to actually to a conclusion that my friend would finally make a decision on what cake to use. So a top tip in here, so after the point sentence, another idea here is to use repeating words that always connect back to that thematic string. So lastly, how can we predict whether our readers will see coherence in something that you're writing? Maybe it's not so simple as cakes for a birthday party. And of course, when we're considering scientific writing, sometimes the concepts are hard, and we must make absolutely sure that these concepts are tied together to one thematic string. So here's this diagnostic test for you to consider. First of all, look at all the point sentences together. So you've written some prose, you've written down a passage. Look at all the point sentences together. That's the main point from the introduction, and likely the opening for each paragraph that follows. Do you see similar themes repeated throughout? That's what we're looking for here. If you don't see similar themes in these point sentences, revise these sentences. Focus on the opening sentences on those paragraphs. Number 3, identify themes. Find those key important words or phrases from these point sentences, from these opening sentences, from each paragraph. You can identify these words and make sure that synonyms for them or that these words are recurring throughout the various paragraphs of your work. Trace these thematic strings throughout each paragraph. Make sure they appear, kind of highlight them, and make sure they appear enough in your writing. Finally, and revision of our work is very important if we're needing to submit something. So revise these paragraphs so that these introduced themes continue throughout the passage. Make sure that these keywords repeat along with their synonyms. So that's how we can start to connect our writing. That's how we can address the reader's need for a theme, a single idea that follows through all of our writing. In the next presentation, I'll talk about how we can actually focus a reader's mind on a problem to solve and make sure that that might be the theme that's continued throughout the work. That will make your writing and your presentations even more persuasive and will become memorable. These ideas will become memorable in the minds of the reader. So thank you very much for listening.